Okay. Now the body is very been uniquely carved. First of all, it's cut in half. She had a tattoo on her leg that has been going to be a little evasive. It has been cut out of her leg, and
when the body was found, it had been removed.
It had been removed.
So the guy took souvenirs.
And let me finish.
Okay.
I will phrase it as the newspaper did of the day. It was recovered during her autopsy.
In other words, he cut it off of her thigh and stuck it in her vagina.
Yeah, Mr. Hopkins did a movie along these lines.
Yeah.
No, where did he put it? It's not found on the body.
No, it is found on the body. It's just not in the vagina.
Where?
In the mouth.
It's in her ear.
No. Keep guessing.
No.
The rectum.
Don't tell him?
Don't tell him.
Okay, I won't tell you.
What is the cause of
She
death?
choked on her own blood.
Is that it? Oh, okay, asphyxiation. Okay.
That's what they think it was.
So she was.
But there's no ligatures, no beatings.
Anything
no...
other than the cut marks?
There was
Oh, she did get a beating.
There were stab wounds.
On the back?
To the head.
they poked
Oh, the head.
Beating
Like
to the head,
hit, yeah, she was hitting the head. Part of one breast was removed.
What part?
No.
Up here. Up here. Not the
Okay,
nipple, but like over.
Okay,
Just a.
just curious, trying to get a picture.
And then probably the most unique thing was her mouth was cut ear like this. And like,
Both sides.
Like that, both sides.
Both cheeks all the way
Yeah,
up.
all the way
Like a
up.
smile.
Yeah, exactly. Like a smile.
Smile this.
Body is
Laugh at this bitch.
washed clean, drained of blood, completely drained of blood. When the investigators get there, they find like one drop of blood on the sidewalk. It's clearly done by somebody who knew exactly what they're doing, how to cut somebody in half. There was no hacking.
Is that
Oh, a
the thing?
magician.
You know,
They think it was with a big knife, and he went right between, I forget which vertebrae it was, but he went right between the vertebrae. The guy who used to be head of the LAPD crime lab was Ray Pinker. He's dead. But I interviewed his wife, or his widow, and she said, Ray always said it was a clean professional job. Whoever did it knew exactly what he was doing.
Maybe a doctor with some medical background.
Well, we're right on the cusp.
getting-
We are right. Yeah, we are right on the
You're
cusp.
holding back from
of
us,
part
and I know
two.
you are.
Oh, yeah?
2-second intermission. We are right on the cusp of part two, which is Larry's suspect and how Larry put it together and how his theory conforms to everything that we know about the case and specifically answers the question, which is, why did this motherfucker dump the two parts of Elizabeth Short, specifically at 39th and Norton? Back to you, Larry Harnish.
Okay. Let's forget Elizabeth Short. Let's just leave her lying there.
In two pieces.
For a minute. Let's go back to her older sister. Remember Virginia?
Yes.
Okay. Let's go back to 1945. When I started doing research on this story, people started sending me things. So this box of stuff shows up on my doorstep one day. And one of the things in there is the marriage certificate of Virginia Short and Adrian West. I decided to go find the house where they got married. And I'm looking at the marriage certificate. And down at the bottom, not up top, but down at the bottom where we've got the address of where they got married, one of the witnesses is signed. It's real hard to read what it is. It says Barbara Lindgren and, hard to read, Norton Avenue. Now, I should tell you, I've talked to a guy, John Douglas. You know who John Douglas is?
Celebrated FBI profile.
Okay. He's one of the people, everybody has a different opinion about John Douglas, but he said there's something about that neighborhood. He said you got a killer who's got a car. Anytime you got a killer with a car, he's making a decision why he decides to leave the body there and not somewhere else. He said he could have been, in 15 minutes he could have been in the mountains, he could have been in the desert, he could have been in the ocean. Nobody would ever found her. But he didn't do that. He goes to a residential neighborhood, even though this entire block is vacant. It's right off of Crenshaw. There's houses one block south of there. There's houses one block north of there. He said, it's not a good spot to leave a body. You're going to get your ass caught. So the question is, what is it about this neighborhood? So I'm looking at the marriage certificate. Son of a gun, Norton Avenue. Not just Norton Avenue, but 3959 South Norton Avenue. That is one block from the crime scene.
Bingo.
So now you've got something totally different. You've got Elizabeth Short is lying in the 3800 block.
Familiar
You've got the sister knows somebody a block away.
Right.
That's too good not to follow.
Never reported in any of the Black Dahlia literature.
Nobody.
Ever.
Is that right?
Ever.
Yeah, and I don't
Completely
think the original.
unreported.
I go to the Hall of Records down in the basement, the big books with the.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Go back and find out who owned the property in 1947. This address, and long story short, it's a woman named Ruth Bailey, Bayley. Okay, go back to the Times clip files and look up Ruth Bailey, and what do we find? Ruth Bailey is the wife. Ruth Bailey, first of all, is the mother of the gal who signed the marriage certificate as the witness. Ruth Bailey is married to not only a doctor, but a surgeon.
You're talking
Name's-
clean cut.
You're talking to a guy. You're talking about a guy named Walter Bailey, former chief of staff at County Hospital, on the staff of USC Medical School. But Walter, his life is unraveling.
Oh, yeah?
Okay, Walter's life is unraveling. He's got, we would recognize it today as Alzheimer's.
Oh,
He's
okay.
not all there. And he dies, as it turns out, in 1948, not quite a year after the Black Dahlia case.
Did he leave a note saying, "I wish I wouldn't have done that" or anything
Well,
like that?
Or I
It's
wish I could
interesting.
remember what I did.
Something nice.
I'll tell you, let go more into his medical condition.
Yeah, he had a thing with, it's called encephalomalacia, where it's a it's actually a softening of the brain tissue.
The brain condition that Dr. Bailey had
Right.
was known to produce homicidal behavior
Oh, really?
in normally passive individuals.
Yeah, well, a lot of guys on the
Boston.
side had that.
Yeah.
You got
that's
Boston,
it.
right?
You can get over it with
How
little
did
Jack
you find
Daniels.
that out?
Yeah.
Well, what is
The-
it's on his death certificate. Yeah, yeah,
Let me ask you this: Virginia, the sister,
yeah.
is she
Seminole
ever
Wiles.
interviewed? I assume she must have been.
She was interviewed
because the
it's a
first
very-
thing as a detective, you're going to say, "Who do you know that she knew in the LA area?"
Virginia Short, or Adrian West, told Sister Betty, if you're ever down and out in L.A., if you ever need a helping hand, call Dr. Bailey.
Of course, yeah.
He's the guy.
That's-
Also, something very interesting here. Larry interviewed Barbara Lindgren on the wedding certificate and questioned her about her time, referential to the time frame of the Dahlia death, and she disingenuously contended that she didn't recall it when it happened a block from the family homestead.
Oh, yeah, sure.
When I talked to her, this is what I said, because I was talking about, the church activities, and did you know, you were at the wedding with these people. I said, did you know that this lady's younger sister was found killed a block from your house? Nope.
Oh, no.
Nope. Mother never mentioned it.
And the most celebrated unsolved homicide in American history.
And she never heard of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ah,
Down
no,
around-
it couldn't have been there.
Yeah. A block from the family farm.